Sonorous City is an immersive surround sound installation exploring the relationship between the soundscape and our perception of the urban environment. By controlling the light within the installation space, the work encouraged the audience to use their ears to engage their mind's eye and experience London in a new sonorous light. The initial reasons for undertaking this project were to help me regain a connection with London, the city I've spent most of my life living in. I felt my experience of the city was somehow dislocated and often dictated by routines of work and necessity. To remedy this, I embarked on a series of journeys stemming from bridges along the River Thames, taking influence from situationist ideas of urban exploration. These were psychogeography, the study of the precise laws and effects of the geographical environment on the behaviour of the individual, and the derive, that is, a means of exploring the city whereby the subject would let themselves be drawn by the attractions of the terrain and the encounters they find there. On my journeys, I simply let the allure of the landscape and the sounds I experienced lead me towards my next location. These derives around London's urban terrain were the initial steps I took towards freely recreating my experience of the city. En route, I collected and recorded the material I've used to create my final piece. I became increasingly aware of how much the soundscape at each location impacted upon my emotional responses and perceptions of the space. This led me to an area of research called acoustic ecology, defined by R.M. Schaffer as the study of the effects of the acoustic environment or soundscape on the physical responses or behavioural characteristics of the creatures living within it. Its particular aim is to draw attention to imbalances which may have unhealthy or inimical effects. Over the last 4 years, the Positive Soundscapes project has been trying to identify and find solutions to these imbalances in both London and Manchester. Their approach integrates the perspectives of acousticians, social scientists, sound artists and urban planners, and strives towards an understanding of how positive sounds can be characterised and designed into the everyday environment. Similarly, the New York Society for Acoustic Ecology has spearheaded several community-based soundscape projects, such as Sound Seeker and City in a Soundwalk, which encourage participants to actively engage with their sonic environment and reflect upon its impact on their daily lives. Although Sonorous City focuses more on my own individual experience of London's soundscape, I see my project as running parallel to those aforementioned. Whilst the scale of my project is much smaller than theirs, it shares a common goal: to heighten the sensitivity of our ears and help us establish a stronger connection with our environment through listening. But what would be the best way to establish this connection for the audience experiencing my final piece? My research fed into a series of audiovisual experiments, which also took influence from electroacoustic methods of understanding sound, and ideas from synesthesia, a neurological condition that takes the input of one sensory experience and translates it into another. These experiments took the form of developing photographs and drawings in response to my sound recordings, and experimenting with moving image and sound shot from the same location. While some of these experiments proved successful, I felt that the image was at times too dominant and perhaps worked against the aim of creating a heightened experience of London's soundscape. So I decided to reduce the visual element to a minimum and make the act of listening central to the experience of my final work. On entering the space, the audience is greeted with a smell, touch and momentary sight of pebbles and other items collected around the River Thames. As they venture deeper into the space, they become enveloped within the surround sound and confront a still blue light shining on a plinth seat. Upon sitting, a random segment of a journey composition is triggered and they are plunged into darkness. Within the software Max MSP, these compositions endlessly link together, freely reconnecting spaces within the city. The audience becomes free to create and interpret the space their mind's eye reveals to them, and hopefully returns to the outside world with their ears open.